Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be painting this. Let's do it. Okay, we're back in the studio today, and today we're going to be painting this. So this is a photo I just printed from one of my recent trips to Lake Superior Provincial Park. I personally really love the snow on the trees and that beautiful warmth coming through the background. So I'm going to use this as a composition, and I'm going to draw it on this canvas. This is a 4x7 foot canvas. I decided on this size because I really like this composition. I think the size will lend it well. As for the underpainting, I'm going to be doing a bit of a mixture of reds with a bit of yellow and a bit of green, kind of making a reddish kind of gray color. And that way the warmth of the underpainting will help to show through this and make this a lot more warm and exciting. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, now that I have the color on the canvas, it's time to draw the image. I'm going to freehand draw this with a little bit of dark paint. And then once I have it all on the canvas, I'm going to stand back, take a look at the canvas, and make sure everything looks just right. And then I'll be moving on to the next step. So let's get into it. So yeah, now that the drawing is complete, it's time to move on to the next step. So what I'm going to be doing next is painting the shadows in the foreground, working backwards towards the background, where I'm going to put the highlights on last. So yeah, let's do it. So something, I find a lot of people don't talk about is when an artist is in the studio and they're ready to make whatever they're willing to make, they have to be in the right state of mind. Now, I don't care who you are, everybody has bad days. So there's a few ways around it. If I'm not feeling totally up to painting, one of the easiest ways around it is to not only not paint, but to put myself in a situation where I'll be inspired to paint the next day, the next week, whenever I feel like getting back in the studio. So if I wake up and I'm just not feeling like painting today, I won't just sit on the couch watching YouTube. I'll go out mountain biking, hiking, canoeing, maybe even a road trip just to get re-inspired so that when I get back in the studio, I'm really itching to go. Just get some paint on the palette here. Mix that up. So now I'm going to start working on these kind of slightly lighter shades of mauve and purple right in there. So it looks pretty close. There's something I'm always looking for when I'm painting these kind of areas is the temperature of what I'm painting. So in here the purples are a lot more purpley, a lot more warm, and in here they're a lot cooler. In the darkest shadows they're even cooler. So that's something to think about. And by cool, I mean more blue would be the best way to describe that. So sometimes the easiest way to describe shadow is by painting in a darker value that is cool. Likewise, the easiest way to describe light, at least natural light, is with warm colors. So by carefully choosing where your warm and cool colors go, it helps you to figure out the exact temperature and source of light. If you can really properly get the feeling across of the temperature of the day, the feeling of the atmosphere, I think those things lend huge aspects to a good, successful painting. Okay, it's coming along nicely. So now it's time to work on the details. So today we're going to do the details of the shadows, add another whole layer to this painting, and it'll really make things pop. So let's get to it. Look at these gorgeous colors. This is one of my favorite parts, doing the highlights. Just playing with these beautiful colors and really just plastering them on the canvas. One of the biggest things I discovered along the way, which actually made my artwork become a lot more confident and a lot more exciting, was I hit the point in my career where I was selling just enough to not worry so much about the price of paint. And then when I was able to hit the studio, I wasn't thinking in the back of my mind about how expensive each individual brushstroke was, and I wasn't worried about wasting paint. And that allowed me to start to experiment more and have a lot more fun. And the end result of that was my quality of work increased and I ended up making more sales. So it was a positive feedback loop. And the truth is, if you can try to enjoy yourself as much as possible in the studio and not get bogged down in the little things like how much paint costs, your work will improve naturally. I just wanted to show you something cool here. This is a trick I use when I'm painting a gradation in the sky. So the color shifts from this blue down to this orange. The easiest way to do this is actually not to mix each individual color. It's to mix darker blue in the top, mix kind of a medium value, and then mix another color, and just mix it all together on the canvas. And that adds these really cool interweaving brush strokes, which really help to make it a lot more interesting. Here's a good example of why when you paint the darks first and then you paint the lights afterwards, it really makes it more interesting. So you can see here the red underpainting underneath, and then as I painted the blues, purples, the last thing to go on was these highlights, and that allows me to really keep the brushwork nice and interesting with all those layers of different angled brushwork. It really helps to make it feel like the light is on the surface of the snow as well, something you couldn't necessarily do if you were painting the darks after the lights. Also, something to think about is that when you paint these dark kind of areas, you want to have lots of different colors. So I call these chromatic grays. So effectively, there's a ton of different values and a ton of different colors in the same area, all to make that area a lot more interesting and dynamic. So in the original source photo, an area like this would turn out to be black, but I know that it's trees. So I'm going to add these kind of blues, turquoises, a bit of warm kind of green colors, and even some reds to really make you understand that these are layers and layers of different branches. And that helps to make these kind of small areas a lot more interesting, which all in all makes the whole piece a lot more fun. Well, there you have it, guys. All done. Super happy with how it turned out. The oranges I added here really helped to complement those purples in the foreground. Yeah, all in all, super excited. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.